Good morning. Welcome to a new adventure with pretty backgrounds. We're working out some kinks, making some things happen, and trying to upgrade this whole set. So hopefully you're enjoying or will enjoy what's going to happen because this is our first day going live with this. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, and this is Things You Might Not Have Heard. It still is that. Today is Friday, May the 13th, 2022, and we're going to give you 5 stories today that you can take to your water cooler talk and talk it, if you will. 5 stories that aren't necessarily beaten path stories, although we will go really big on the Finland story and give you some things that may be interesting to you, may not be so interesting today. They just sort of happen. We go through a range of about 30 or so stories a day that we post on our social media sites, our feeds, if you will, and we pick about 7 to 5, that was backwards, 5 to 7 of the range of the top 15. So we look for the ones that you have vetted as most conversational, the ones you vetted as most interesting, and we do our best to present them to you as you vetted them and to other folks who may not know what's going on. You can find out more information, more details about what we do at the show, at the website, and at the project at theconversationproject.com. We're a little behind. Things are going weird. We're this first time doing the scheduling, but we're going a little early. That way the little thumbnail sticks in there. So yay, thumbnails. Let's go through the stories right now quickly and get this thing going on, man. Let's do this right here. We have to start with this one because this is the saddest story out there, and we've had a lot of these going on lately. It only ranked as 12 out of the 15 top that were in the vetting, but we posted this fairly late in the system, and this is a story that's been ongoing. Of course, Naomi Judd and the Judds themselves, that being Noma and Naomi, making it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a couple weekends ago. Naomi Judd not quite making it to the ceremony, dying a few days beforehand. We received news from her daughter, Ashley, that she died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. FoxNews.com is our source for this one particularly, but this is one that overtook a while. And there's a lot of other things going on. So this is one that did not take a large, massive life on its own in the secondary market, but it is one that is a relatively important because we've had so many stories that we reported here specifically and just in general of people in this range of time who are dying from suicide and from specifically self-inflicted gunshot wounds. The story is pretty simple, pretty self-contained. We know that Ashley Judd was dealing with a lot of serious health issues, which compounded some serious anxiety and mental issues. And as Ashley, her daughter, said, she was in so much pain and so much agony, she could not last a few more days for a celebration of her at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that's what we have on this one. We're definitely sending out extra thoughts and prayers to the family and, of course, anyone who is a fan of the music and the people involved. We also want to we've used this way too many times in the last couple of weeks, but I remind you of the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. 800-273-8255. 800-273-8255 is the number, open 24 hours a day. They speak to you in English. They speak to you in Spanish. They also have some resources online at suicidepreventionlifeline.org. And you may have a local grouping, a local organization or other organizations deal with a church family, a family, friends out there to talk to. If you're in a situation where things seem dire and you're just not understanding what's happening, we need you to go out there and talk to somebody. As I say at the end of all these programs, we need you here. We need you here to do the great things you need to do. And that is what I truly believe. And trust me, I have been there. If you need someone to chat with, you can reach out to me in the comments and we can chat if that's the case. Next story we have is January 6th committee subpoenas Kevin McCarthy, other GOP members for testimony. abcnews.go.com is that one. This one ranked pretty big in what you guys vetted, number 5 of 15. And this is a pretty simple story as well. There are 6, I believe, sitting congressmen and senators that have been subpoenaed from GOP who have basically been silent about what happened. These are people who happen to be mostly pretty close to Donald Trump and pretty much in contact with the White House and Donald Trump via text, or some actually had some phone calls made in while the January 6th insurrection was going on. Kevin McCarthy, of course, the leader in the House or the House, I guess, minority leader, wanting to be the majority leader if they can get that majority in the House, is a key member of what's going on because he was quick to condemn Mr. Trump and then, of course, go to Mar-a-Lago and beg for him to endorse him so that he can be speaker at some point in time if they win the House. Other folks include Jim Jordan, who has his own sort of issues going on, but he, of course, being subpoenaed for what he knows, what communications he was having. And it's a toss up between what they know about the build up to what's going on and what they know about President Trump's response, actual response in real time, which we are basically told he watched TV, he got a couple giggles out of it, he made a really crappy video about it, and then he watched some more TV, which sounds like Donald Trump in a nutshell. Story number 3, CW cancels Naomi, 4400, Charmed, and Roswell, New Mexico. Sci-fi.com again was this one 3 on the list of things. So apparently you guys really were into bad CW shows and bad CW sci-fi shows because this is one that pulled most of your attention for the day yesterday. And this is one that's it's a long time coming because they've been waiting for a long time for the fates of a lot of shows on the CW. Now, this gets a bit more complicated. It's not just about bad CW shows, which they're all bad. They all are kind of horrible, but it also is a part about business. The CW has been bought out. The channel's bought out in the big merger. I think it's the big Paramount mega merger thing about Bobber. And so what's going to happen with this channel, we will have to see. There are many shows that still remain, many shows that are still going forward. But this may end up being the end of the network channel, the CW, as we know it, and more of a taking that property and putting it into streaming. Now, here where I am in Little Rock, Arkansas, we do have a local CW affiliate that's attached to essentially a subset of another station. No, actually, I'm lying. We don't have a local CW affiliate. We do. It's complicated, but we have CW based off of a merger with another merger. Used to work in TV, so it gets really deep really quick. But as far as a local station, it doesn't produce as a local station. On streaming, I get CW as a because we have attachment to a station, we get it on demand 2 days after shows pop up, but we don't have a regular on the over there station that does anything other than Jerry Springer or whatnot. I don't know. CW is in this weird plane where it did not survive the massive amount of coverage that Fox got, because CW is a combination of 2 stations that, UPN and WB, if you remember those, and now they are, who knows where they are. This is a really long explanation on a story that really wasn't that deep. Here, the big news is CW has been basically canceling shows all the lines because of the merger and trying to get things in order. Only 2 of the remaining 4 Arrowverse shows are still remaining, and so it took forever to get those shows to get confirmation. New shows, which are Naomi, a new semi-Arrowverse show-ish, but it, of course, got a little weird, got a little boring, to be honest. Sorry, Ava, got boring with that. Also, some other shows that didn't quite live up to the lives that they lived, including the Charmed remake on that one. So the CW not quite calling it quits yet, but definitely calling it quits on a bunch of shows for getting the axe yesterday. Also, other news you popped up there with other stations canceling things towards the end of the season, but this one was the one that picked up the most. And we had some things at ABC and CBS and some shows that actually got picked up. This is one you guys had more engagement with, and this is the cancellation of the CW shows. Finland's leaders announced support for NATO membership, moving the nation closer to joining the alliance. CNN.com giving us that as the basically 4th story to talk about, 4th ranked story, if you will. And this is one we used yesterday as a teaser that I thought was going to be a pretty big deal. Finland is close to Russia. It shares most of its eastern border with the nation. It's Finland's kind of a thin sort of cucumber-shaped nation, if you will, and you can put whatever images you want in your head with that one. And it's basically its total eastern border is attached to Russia. They're a bit worried about what happened in Ukraine because Russia just rolled in Ukraine with only that much border. Who knows what they'll do to Finland now? Basically, their basis of going into Ukraine is they said he used to own it and they want to get it back. They don't have that same rights for Finland, so that will be a bit of a different bother. However, Russia did said there shall be consequences if Finland joins NATO. The biggest thing that Russia was looking to do was basically make sure there was still a buffer between them, any country that was a NATO country, and themselves. That's why Belarus is a big deal, because Belarus has a border with Russia as well, and other countries out there, some of them encroaching. Finland becomes a larger swath where there's actually more border attached to NATO than there is to the rest of the non-NATO nations. Sweden also thinking about joining NATO as well. We'll see how that goes. Sweden doesn't share a border with Russia. They share a border with Finland, so they'd be the next step over if it happens. And it's actually a small border. Most of their division is via water. So we have that to kind of look into. Let's go to our next story. This one. Federal prosecutors urge judges to hand Josh Duggar maximum punishment for downloading depraved child sexual abuse material. Lawandcrime.com. This one ranking in 7 in our range of top 15. And this is one that I probably should have had the parental guidance popped up on this one, or some sort of trigger warnings, because Josh Duggar is turning into a big deal. Now, everyone wants to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop, even though they don't want to, but no one wants to talk about Josh Duggar, and no one wants to talk about the big deal he was in conservative politics in roles he did. His jobs are essentially working in family-styled organizations that promoted family values and things like that. He is famous for being a kid of a guy who had 20 kids, and they had a show about it. They have all sorts of weird stuff. He's a big deal here in Arkansas, whether we care that he's a big deal or not. And he's in this child sexual abuse thing and child porn thing and all things coming up keeps getting worse and worse and uglier and uglier and badder and badder. Federal prosecutors are now saying he needs to get the max for what's going on, for what he was consuming. I don't really want to go deep into it because it really does get really sad really quickly. But right now, what they're not talking about, the thing that I'm going to talk about, is the fact that Josh Duggar is essentially a staunch part of Republican politics, and he has pictures with pretty much all the big guys out there. A lot of them here in Arkansas, because the Duggars are a big deal for Arkansas, but a lot of the big deals, including the Sarah Sanders and folks like that. But they're not talking about this. They all want to talk about Hunter Biden and his cocaine addiction and his laptop, but no one wants to talk about associated with Josh Duggar in posts like this. Yes, there's a double standard. No, I'm not going to deny that. And yes, I may be the only person bringing this thing up right now, so that's a bit different. But this is a real story. This is a real deal, and you're not seeing much of it at all because it's more salacious and just sort of tawdry and tabloid, which is true. Yet we're talking about Hunter Biden's laptop all the time. And finally, Kentucky Derby long shot winner Rich Strike won't run in the Preakness, ensuring no Triple Crown winner for 4th straight year. APnews.com on this one, and that just means simply he was a long shot. The horse, I guess it's a he. The horse was a long shot to win Kentucky Derby, and he won it. He blew folks out of the water. There's a lot of weird sort of craziness in the world of horse racing. I'm going to invoke the name of my friend Don Parker again, who tried to explain it to me. She believes she's a horse whisperer and all that stuff like that, because we have Oakland here in Arkansas. There's a lot of the behind the scenes in political stuff. It's basically as bad as the NBA, the MLB, and the National Football League combined, with all the craziness behind the scenes with the money and stuff going on and things like that. It is just what it is. It happens to be that way. There's a lot of horse trading, pun intended, to get the horses in for this year and what was happening, whatever. And just so happened that a long shot winner took the crown for this one. And because they don't think the horse is going to do all that great going forward, they're not even going to put him in for the other two. He wasn't expected to do very well in this one. This is not going to happen. So if you're a betting man or woman, you don't have Rich Strike to bet on, so you can't use that as an excuse for all your losings, because you'll probably lose. We'll see how that goes along with that one. So, but we do have less history being made this year, because there is no chance of Triple Crown winner for this season. Let's go to our teaser story that's going to be for the weekend. Remember, for Monday, we're going to stretch from this morning, Friday morning, all the way to Monday morning with news stories. So that's going to be over 90 different news stories to pick from. We will pick from 30 of those stories as the top vetted stories in the engagement. And then we will give you 7 to 9 of those based on how things are rolling. This one right here, once again, going to CNN, more than 7 trillion has been wiped out from the stock market this year. This is no secret. This is nothing that no one has not seen. The number trillion may be a big thing, but I know I have watched my portfolio for my personal trading portfolio because, I'm, Wall Street geek and all that stuff, go from about, go down about, I'll be honest. It's down about in my short game, not my real investments. My real investments are down pretty big, but my short game playing where I go in and out, it's down about $1,000 in this last year so far. And this is making $20 trades here or there and trading up and down. This is not big time stock. This is not my 401k. This is just my play around money so I can play the market and kind of invest in the stuff right here. In the year to date, it's down about $1,000, which doesn't seem like much, but I'm only putting in so much in this. This is not my full-time retirement, so luckily that's not there. But the entire market losing $7 trillion in stock valuation because, believe it or not, stocks don't always go up. I think you believe that now. We may talk about this. If this is one you think is big enough to talk about or something similar, if you choose to, by voting up in the feeds. We'll talk about the feeds in just a moment. But first, let's talk about feeding my little girl because it's Friday night. It's pizza night, and we got to feed her pizza. And by doing that, we're going to roll into the ad for the day. Our today's sponsor is Fundrise. And yes, we're talking about markets, and markets are not doing as great right now. But oddly enough, the market that's doing awesome is your housing market. The housing market is going crazy. We're also looking for new housing, trying to figure that stuff out, and trying to find a house is insane. One way I'm making money off this deal is not by buying a cheap house and then pulling money in and then flipping it. I'm going to Fundrise, and you can do the same by going to thisistheconversationproject.com/Fundrise. And this is an affiliate link, so we get a little bit from that. But what they're giving you right now at Fundrise is money. Literally, they're offering up extra shares in their funds for Fundrise. Fundrise runs essentially, think of it as mutual funds of actual properties. You invest into funds that manage actual properties. You'll get prospectus, things on actual buildings they're buying, updates on what's going on, how things are doing, and see how that's going, and just play around and not even play along with it. You get great deals on this. They're also offering up extra shares for your joining right now as a bonus, and they're still offering a discount on the advisory fees right now. So very low advisory fees to manage the funds, extra shares to get yourself in there because you're looking for something to diversify. It's not magic. The market for housing will, go down at some point as well, but it's not magic. It's basically diversifying your portfolio, getting it out of the stocks, out of the bonds, out of the crypto right now, because crypto is really, really bad, and you want to get into something that's a bit more safe. Fundrise is a way to get into real estate without actually having to buy it and manage it. Check it out at thisistheconversationproject.com/Fundrise. As we said, this is an affiliate link, so we get a little bit back from bringing you into the store. But as you sign on, you will find it's a great way to invest, a great way to expand on your portfolio at Fundrise. This is theconversationproject.com is our main website, and you can go there to see what we do, what we have done. It's not the prettiest website right now. We're going through cleaning some things up to make it more reflect what we're doing in the forwards, but in the moment, in the right now, we got what we got. So check it out and see what we've done in the past, see where we're trying to go with this. And if you want to help things out, there are more sponsors in the sponsors tab, and there are, of course, the partnerships if you deem us worthy of a few bucks to help us keep things going, and the plea page for some specific things that we're looking on. This thing back here, this green screen map, is part of the things that we are building on, and we thank you for your contributions so far. But we're looking to move even further, so we appreciate that. You can also, just for free, for the price of your electricity and your cell phone bill anyway, check us out on Facebook and Twitter. On Facebook, it's a Conversation Project. On Twitter, it's th_conversation. And follow our feeds. Every 50 minutes, we post a news story. And as we do that, we want you to engage in it. We want you to be more involved, more engaged, more knowing what's going on. We call ourselves a tertiary news source, your news side piece, and that's the jokey part. But we do like to put in other stories that aren't getting talked about, such as the Duggar story, which is not getting a lot of good stuff. Although true crime people and on the Law and Crime Network, they're getting a lot of talk about that if you're into courts type stuff. But it's not getting a blurb at all. In fact, I don't think we've mentioned it at all locally in the local news. And I live in Central Arkansas. I live where the Duggars operate. You can see some stories that may make you upset, may make you whine about the sources. That happens right now. We're dealing with a Facebook issue where I posted a story that was salacious from a actual news source, and now they're trying to do some issues there. So you may not like the sources or the stories, but we want you to engage with them anyway. The more engagement they get, the higher score they get. Tuesday through Friday, we take the top 15 stories out of about 30 to 33. On Monday, we'll take the top 30 stories of about 92 to 98 or so, and we'll present to you a big chunk of those to describe. And you can help us figure out what stories are worth talking about. You and, of course, the Twitter algorithm, of course. So Elon Musk, which we have one coming up about him possibly pausing that buy. You can be a part of that by just being in the feeds and letting us know what stories are kind of cool. And YouTube has our main website feed for our YouTube channel. This is conversationproject.com/YouTube. Part of our ask in the plea is to go there, subscribe, hit notifications so we can get there going on. I'm going to reach out to some comments real quick popping up. A big O, Sean, is on, and we're talking back and forth about some other things going on. And yes, definitely we need to see Jim Jordan see what happens and have him actually speak in real time. So that's what's going on. And also, yes, he also chimed in on my my investments. This was like a small fund. This fund was like it basically was meant to be lived at about $3,000 and just kind of play in and out. But over the past year, $1,000 has dropped. I'm sure I'll lose more in that case. I'm not living off this one. This is like vacation money at some point in time. This is not living off money. So the wife can be assured that we're not putting all our stocks into Enron because, well, you can't. Some more things you might not have known today. Let's go with some birthdays starting off. Dennis Rodman, who is 61 years old today. And yes, it is true that Dennis Rodman graduated from high school and was just being a janitor. And then he grew like 8 inches and decided to try basketball again. He was 5'11", grew to 6'7", and then decided, I'm tall now. Why don't I try some ball again? And now he's Dennis Rodman. Stephen Colbert, 58 years old today. Hopefully he gets better. Contracting COVID from somebody. Somebody on the show basically was COVID. Was hiding the COVID and gave it to Stephen Colbert. So that's kind of sad. But we'll hopefully he'll get over that pretty good. And Robert Pattinson, not my favorite Batman, but pretty darn close. Emo Batman doing a pretty good job of joining in the Bat family. Of course, he's also a twinkly, sparkly vampire, which we'll never forgive him for that. 36 years old today. Blame someone else day is today. And so today is your day to blame someone else. Not me. I'm not saying that, but someone decided to declare this blame someone else day. So by all means, feel free. And one last thing out the way to the door that you might not have heard. 1 in 10 families don't save leftovers ever. This was a really weird kind of fact. And I'm not sure if it's on the internet. So, how real is it? But 1 in 10 families literally never save any leftovers. And you would think that it would be maybe slightly higher in the percentage wise, closer to 2 in 10, 25%. But no, most people actually do save their leftovers. Most people actually do re-eat their food, which is good for the economy, good for us, and good for people who like making very, very large portions, large meals, which is me. And of course, Christina K saying that leftovers are bad. So there you go. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. This has been Things You Might Not Have Heard for Friday, May 13th, 2022. Let me know what you think about the map back there. I think I like the map. There's some lighting issues I got to work on here, but I think I like the map. I think I like how that's going to go. And we may play with some stuff in the background. Also, some other things that you may or may not have seen in the last couple of weeks that are in the works in improving this thing. And of course, today we've been not even close to pithy, but it is what it is. We've got an early start, so we're gonna hang it up to that. Let me know what you think about what's going on. Go to thisistheconversationproject.com for more details, and make sure you follow us in the feed so you are helping us pick the stories. We get better stories when there's more engagement in the feeds, more engagement with the stories, so we know better stories to pick from. And now it's getting a little hard from this is having a straight up mandate to cover the 8 stories, like for 8 things to talk about. It gets a bit more interesting. So if you tell me what story is interesting, then I have to kind of figure it out and go from there. In the meantime, make sure you stay hydrated, stay limber, stay on task, because we need you to be you, to do you, and stick around for all the great things that we need you to be around for. And one more quick shot. I can't see the slides very well, so apologies for that. Is if you need someone to talk to, National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 800-273-8255, 800-273-8255. Also, suicidepreventionlifeline.org. The phone lines, people are manned 24 hours a day. They speak English and Spanish to help you talk through whatever you need to talk through. With that, I bid you adieu, no further, and we are going to get back to work, get back to our day, have a great weekend, and, talk some news as we can.